what are something that you see, like if you're going around, you see contours, what's something that is going to make you stop on a spot and try and fish it? What's something that you look for as far as like bottom structures, contours, any of that stuff? What's something that the average guy can kind of be like, oh, Randall
Yeah.
can check this out, so he stops and fishes it.
When it comes to, let's talk about like offshore and nearshore. I mean, reefs. Reefs are going to be your first place to start, right? I
Okay.
mean, a lot of the numbers are public, so you can get a lot of that stuff. It's a great place to start. Finding spots out there can get quite expensive because of the fuel. I mean,
Yeah,
you can spend a lot of money for those spots. So I recommend
yeah.
buying some of these chips. They'll definitely help you get rolling. The one thing I've learned about offshore fishing usually too, unless it's a wreck, a true wreck, if you find any kind of shelves or rock piles or anything, if you work that, if you go ahead and ride around with your down scan or side scan imaging sonar, you'll see other spots in that area, right? They're not
Okay.
one spot for a long ways. It's a long ways from a group of an area. So you'll have this area
Mm,
hard bottom that's maybe a mile or so, or half mile round area. And then you'll have 10 miles, 5 miles between the next area, but
mm-hmm.
work that area. You find some good spots or somebody gives you a couple of good spots, numbers outside. Go when you catch some fish in there, just kind of move around. That's what we do a lot of drifting when we grouper fish and stuff. When we're watching the machines and just kind of drifting around and seeing what we see. Found a lot of structure like that. Um,
Mm-hmm.
when it comes to the inshore side, if you can find points in pockets and coves that have like a deep trough in them or something, you're usually gonna find some fish around there. I mean, that's usually you'll see that greener water in that hole,
Okay.
and usually like up against the mangroves or something. I see it a lot in Tampa Bay where I'm at. They say they're old bombing holes. They're from old bomb. That's what I've heard from people. I don't know how true that
Huh.
is from like
Yeah.
all the
Wow.
old school bombing testing, but those areas seem to hold a lot of fish. But we've always said 20% of the water holds 90% of the fish at any given time of the year. So
Mm-hmm.
I was taught a long time ago, never leave fish to find fish. So my point behind that is if I go into an area and I catch 2, 3 fish on a point, maybe 2 points in that area, I'm going to work that area for the day, just all around it until I can find the perimeters of the fish. Fish always have perimeters, right? There's always an end to the right, end to the left, end to the north, end to the south.
And they
So if you
pocket.
could, yep. So if you can find the perimeters of that set of fish, because my true belief is that when these fish come in the marsh or in the mangroves, they come in a big pack and they break up into smaller packs, and they kind
Okay.
of have because they're going to school back up, right? When they go to go make their, and we didn't talk about this, but when they go to go make their migrations, they're going to kind of congregate back together and they're going to kind of go move. So
Okay.
if you could find perimeters of fish in an area, then that's where I would stay. I would never take a spot and fish 2, 3 spots in an area and catch a few fish and then go run 20 miles unless I really knew that area and really knew something. I would
Mm-hmm.
just keep finding the perimeters because you might be on the outside edge of the fish, right? If you go to the
Right.
right, there might not be anything. But you go to the left over there a little more, maybe a half mile, quarter mile. That might be where the main pack of that fish is.
Hmm.
So
Yeah,
that's
that's
kind of,
interesting.
yeah, I mean, it's obviously completely different offshore, inshore, right? But and then pelagics are a whole nother animal.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, they're all great, right? It's fishing, man. The outdoors.
Yeah, yeah, I'm with you 100%. So, all right, you kind of were given like your something you said earlier with the three different kinds of stuff that you were taking, like your basic pack. What's something like gear wise? Let's say, man, that's another question. I'm thinking of these questions and I'm like, it's so hard
Deep, huh?
because yeah, being a hardcore fisher, I'm looking at it from the outside thinking, yeah, but like you've got inshore, you got offshore, you got rivers, you got lakes, you got lake. You're like, we got to dial this in. What are we talking about here? I was trying to think of like something that you could say for like gear that someone might want, like, three, default pieces of gear that you would take out with you. Like if you're inshore fishing, what's three things that you would take, like, no matter what, that you would take in there to go
So I
fish?
can give something for all types of fish, and we can go into all types. There's
Okay.
one thing that I will not step away from. That's fluorocarbon leader. Every
Okay.
rod I ever touch, I don't care if it's bass fishing, lake fishing, stream fishing, offshore fishing, we're going to run fluorocarbon leader. We're going to run a piece on there. It's just one thing I will not go away from. And then when it comes to other gear, what would I mean, obviously, man, like you said, rods and all that. You get into real specifics and all that. I mean, if you're looking at, if you're just an all around fisherman, spinning rods are just the way to go. Anything, right? You can do anything with a
Mhm.
spinning rod. Offshore 5-6K, you can do anything, and inshore with a 3-4K, you can do anything you want. Um, but even bass fishing, a lot of guys fish with the spinning rods, spinning reels. But man, that's a tough question. That is, because you got to get specific on what you're
Oh,
doing.
what are we doing here?
Yeah, what we're doing there. But I mean, one thing I can definitely think of is no matter what kind of fishing I'm doing, I'm using fluorocarbon leader. Like we're running
Yeah.
fluoro. I got every different size rolls of fluorocarbon in my boat from 10, or really not that low, 15, 20, all the way up to 150, 200.
Mm-hmm.
That's something I'm not getting away from. And I'll tell you one thing I wouldn't do is I see all these rigs all the time, all snagged up, these metal rigs. Unless we're mackerel fishing or something, like I see all these pre-made metal rigs that people are trying to catch redfish and trout and
Mm,
snook with. That is not the way to go. Um,
okay.
Fluorocarbon is definitely the way to go. But no, that's about all I can say. The one thing that's going to carry over into everything we do.
Hey there, sorry to take you away from the video, but real quick, did you know that on average a boat owner will spend between $1,000 and $5,000 a year just on servicing their engine? And you could actually pocket and save a lot of that money if you would just do the service yourself. It might seem like a daunting task, but I guarantee you virtually everyone can do it with our guidance and the Boaters program. This is just one skill that you could learn inside the program because we have hundreds of other videos teaching you all kinds of boating skills, as well as a weekly live stream where we have questions and answers with me, as well as a chat feature where you can send videos and pictures, ask all kinds of questions, or look for some advice or some guidance on a project that you're doing on your boat. You can join the program by hitting the first link in the description, clicking join, or visiting bornagainboating.com. Now back to the video.